Traditional waterfall says a roadmap is pretty much like a Gantt chart. It just says like this activity and then this activity and then this activity. But as we know in Agile, things just don't work like that. And if we're to define 12, 18 months out what the team are going to be working on, then we're going to be working on ideas which are 18 months old. Especially in fintech, like this industry just changes so fast that if you're planning 18 months out, then you're out of date already. So I like to plan the roadmaps around themes. So we take customer problems or like jobs to be done, and then we would put those jobs to be done. We would then impose them on a roadmap. So we would then say to the senior management or whoever else, in this quarter we're looking at the theme of customers collecting currency, for example, at TravelX. There is zero commitment there to build a certain feature, use a certain technology, do any of those things, ship a product on a certain date, achieve certain metrics. It's kind of like we are just looking at this theme and this area of improvement. So by doing that, it kind of gives them the comfort and reassurance that we're looking at areas that are meaningful to them. Gives us that reassurance that we're not forced onto dates or forced onto building products which are out of date. So really works for both sides of the fence. And also, it's perfect because it centers everyone back around the customer. So it's not, we're going to build an app that does rate tracking, for example. Kind of like, that's fine. That's very business driven, but what's the customer value? If you said, we're going to explore how customers can get the most value from their money, rate tracking might be the output of that. That might be the feature that you build, but you're not committing to do that. If you're going to go and discover the problem, work through that, do some design explorations, and then center back in on the product. So having themed roadmaps is definitely the way that kind of works for every party involved in roadmaps. So I found that to be without a doubt the most successful way of managing product roadmaps. You've got two elements to a roadmap. You kind of got the themes of things that you're going to look at, and then you can sit down. So I'd sit down with the other product owners in the organization and say, okay, well, I'm working on this theme, and actually in 2 months' time, you're working on that theme, and that is very similar to what we're working on. So let's do some alignment. So there definitely needs to be alignment within a product team on the themes that people are working on and looking for adjacencies in terms of how teams can work better together. But yeah, you're always going to get dates in from other people where they say, we've got to do this by this date. I always try and not put that on the roadmap and put it elsewhere. I kind of hold the roadmap as like this sacred document that won't be demonized by dates and other things. But also I put an element of time on there. So the Q2, Q3, Q4, but I also have an arrow across, an arrow that grows. And that is just labeled, I think I call it increase in amount of uncertainty. So people know that if I say in Q1, we're looking at this theme and we're in Q1 right now, then we're definitely looking at that right now. In Q2, I tell you this theme, that means we're probably going to look at that. In Q3, that means we might look at this. And in Q4, that kind of means finger in the air. It feels like we might be looking at that. But really, with each quarter, it has a growing amount of uncertainty and a growing amount of lack of commitment to doing that. But yeah, so really focused about the near-term type of activities that we can do. And we're going to prepare to be committed on with increasing amounts of uncertainty moving out from there.